Well, hello, my lovelies. It's Countess, and yeah, I just decided that I would hop on camera real quick to sort of like touch base with you guys and let you know what my plan is because I have a plan. um, I took some time off of work the last couple of days because I'm approaching my birthday weekend. Yay! So I thought I would just take some time off to chill. Um, but I got asked to do a commissioned mixed media collage for a friend. So, like all day yesterday, I was in the zone and collaging. You guys don't even know. I've been doing this for almost 10 years now, so my collection of ephemera is out of this world. It's a little bit too much, I've been told. Storage can be an issue sometimes to figure out, but generally, though, like I can put together a collage about anything because I collect all different sorts of different media to incorporate into the collages because I like to do them on a canvas. So this was my actual second commissioned collage, and I'm just excited. The first one I did was about a year and a half ago, and it was to exchange. Um, it was to act as payment for a piece of art from my friends. So, like, we swapped. So um, it's just really fun. Otherwise, I've made like little things like on little canvases and have, given friends and family members my art. But generally, I don't actively sell my art. Um, So it's kind of like new territory for me, but it's also exciting to know that um, a piece of me and my creative spirit will be uh, in somebody's home. And yeah, so do you guys want to see the collage? It's just about done, and I think it turned out really rad. So I will show it to you real quick here. Okay, so she wanted a theme of pinup girls. So yeah, that's what I did. I brought in the queen of pinups, Miss Betty Page, my absolute favorite. I love her. I'm like obsessed with Betty. But yeah, this is how it turned out. And I still have a few more things to do. I did a theme of girl gang terrorists and Las Vegas. Just fun stuff. So I'm excited to give it to my friend after it's done. Anyways, I thought I would just share that with you guys. It's one of my passions, and yeah, it's exciting. So, on another note, let's get down to business. Why I'm making this video. Um, I plan to show you guys an extensive look at a certain piece of counterculture propaganda from Britain and Europe, and that is the International Times magazine and even the Oz magazine that was created and produced by Barry Miles. He was the editor in chief. John Dunbar, they both opened up the Indica Bookshop and Gallery. There's Marianne Faithfull, our good old friend Billy McCartney, and Tony Goodwin. Just lots of characters involved. Peter Asher, and it's like, where did these cats come from? And the stuff that are in every single issue, there is something, there's a gem waiting to be discovered. And for all of you who are like me, who like all that esoteric kind of analysis, investigations. This is a treasure trove. So I'm firstly going to get into today just a real quick synopsis of who Barry Miles is. He's referred to just as Miles. Like, people don't even use Barry when addressing him or talking about him. And he is considered to be the king of the counterculture, basically. And he has recalled those wild and crazy days many times. He actually wrote really the only sort of definitive autobiography of Billy McCartney many years from now. He wrote that book. There is an extensive interview between Billy and him in one of these issues that we will get to eventually. But yeah, I just want to go through and show you guys that this magazine is nothing but a propaganda rag, and it's something that started in Britain and was distributed in Britain, but then it got pushed to Europe. So it's like the counterculture information, like the philosophies, the who's who of the community, like Ginsberg, Burroughs, just all of these just really interesting people. And of course, the Beatles get highly, they're on a platform in these magazines. They get, as you can see in my first video that I made with International Times article number 1, that was an article about the Sgt. Pepper album that came out, when it came out. And I excused my low production value. I'm not a video maker, but I just thought, let's go through some interesting articles in this magazine and find out about some of the characters who are behind the magazine. And today I just wanted to kind of go over Barry Miles a little bit and his place in all of this. So I found a couple of articles that are pretty interesting that, just kind of reiterate that, he was a character all about freedom and revolution. And that's what he said was the basis of the counterculture movement, was revolution. And him and his buddies were gung-ho about it. And I think there is a little clip in I Am a Phony, and I'm gonna try to find it, where Miles is being interviewed, and he says, he's asked about McCartney and McCartney's role in the whole thing, and he says, well, I know that he holds the same ideals of freedom as I do, as we do. And so he's very much a part of this whole production, not just a financial contributor to it. So I found that to be interesting. I'll try to find the clip and include it here. But, you go into the Book of the Law, and what have we learned about, Thelema? It is freedom to express yourself, freedom to be an individual, get away from the herd, right? To let it all out and express yourself however you feel is right. And yeah, that was definitely, I did a video a few months ago called International Connection that, showed that, rambling interview that Billy did. Miles interviewed him for that particular taped interview, where he was just stoned and rambling on about, oh, he's a crank because he's against Vietnam, and oh, blah, blah. It's just all over the place, wasn't he? That's why I wanted to highlight that interview, because what Billy says in that interview aligns with who Mr. Miles is slash was. And yeah, you know, they say that if you don't remember the 60s, um, then that's probably because you were there in the 60s, basically. All the drugs and everything that have been the result of debauchery and free living, right? So just wanted to kind of scan through some of these, a couple of these articles about Mr. Miles so you guys can get an idea of his vibe and what his envision of this magazine, of this counterculture movement actually is. And you guys can see that his magazine, which he had a hand in every single issue, is what he said. This magazine has the stamp of Crowley all over it, and Crowley is in it. You know, they use this magazine as an opportunity to introduce people to Crowleyanity, basically. And yeah, I think it's just very fascinating, and we're going to highlight some of the interesting articles in this series. I will be wrapping up my walk through the major arcana. I kind of wanted to give it a rest because I was like we're halfway through and I was posting a video every day. Not very many views, but it's an important series for somebody who wants to learn more about tarot. And I just thought it's a good idea. So that's separate. I will finish it. I am going to be starting this new series about the international times, and we're going to start probably tomorrow or Sunday with going through some of the characters and who the characters who set up this magazine really are, who they were, all of that. And yeah, I just wanted to kind of give you guys a little heads up and kind of shoot the shit with you as well. It's good to like get on camera and so you guys can actually see me and know that I'm here. Yeah. Anyways, guys, thank you again to all of you who watch my videos. Thank you to all of you who have newly subscribed. You know, I appreciate all of your time. And I hope that the subjects that I present are somewhat interesting and informative for you guys, because they are for me. Like, I learned so much doing these videos, and that's kind of the main reason why I'm continuing to do them. The 1960s counterculture is just so intriguing to me, and how, because it is where we switched and where things started getting flipped around and inverted in our whole society, not even just based on like Christian values, just morality in general went out the window when the counterculture rolled in. And I find that very fascinating, and it, you know, the effects of it have bled into even our present day. So we're going to go through that, and I hope you guys will join me and give me your input too on these very interesting articles and very fascinating people involved. So that's it for me right now. I will get back into tarot readings. I was going to sit down and do one on MJ, but I kind of like got swept up in researching about, you know, the international times, and it's taken a lot. It's a lot of information to drudge through, and but I love it, and I think it's so interesting, and I think it needs to be highlighted, especially concerning all of the topics we have discussed on my channel, all of the topics that I'm sure you guys, you know, look for when you're trying to find something to watch on YouTube. You know, I want to address these because I don't think anybody else has. And it's very important, this magazine and this whole philosophy, and how it has affected everything in our society. So yeah, I hope you guys will join me. Again, thank you so much for all of the support and encouragement that each of you give me. Please consider liking, subscribing, commenting to help get that algorithm up. It gets my videos out to more people. I would greatly appreciate it, guys. Otherwise, that's it for me. So have a lovely weekend, and you will be hearing from me sometime soon. So bye, guys. I love you and be blessed. Bye.
When the Liverpool people came here to London, they brought with them the freedom, the money they'd made. A centre is what is needed. That's what the bookshop here in Indica was designed. But the bookshop wasn't enough. A newspaper seemed to be the only way to get them all to meet.
One of the staff members and a co-founder held a competition in the first issue of the newspaper. His name was Jan Iarkomo, apparently a Polish filmmaker. The same Jan Iarkomo who ran this ad in the next issue. The same Jan Iarkomo who contributed to the Church of the Final Judgment and their magazine, The Process. The same Jan Iarkomo who engaged his friend Yoko Ono to perform an exhibition at his own Indica Gallery.
She was having a show at this gallery. So anyway, I finally got to this show, and she had all these things on, like all these like hammer nail things, and that clock there, you listen to it through a stethoscope, all the things. There was this ladder and a thing on the ceiling. So I climbed the ladder, and on the ceiling it said, yes. But it said yes, and that was enough, And then she came up and said she didn't know who I was.
Neither of them know about it.
Yoko came around to my house.
She knew who the Beatles were because
she had met him.
She met you.
Yeah.
She knew of the Beatles.
Neither of them know about it.
I don't know.
But of course, if she knocked on your door, she knew you were a Beatle.
The same Jan Iarkomo that wrote Paperback Writer. The same Jan Iarkomo whose name backwards sounds like, listen, Jan Iarkomo, Paul McCartney.
So Miles anyway turned me on to a lot of that International Times, Evergreen, all those little things. There were lots of very far out, and we used to do a lot of that.
This means that someone like Paul McCartney is on the scene and have supported it in both direct and indirect ways, and will probably say we have the same concept of freedom as he does. Have all found a certain similarity in their aims, more intimate and direct.
So way before John met Yoko and got avant-garde, I was like the avant-garde London bachelor with Miles, my pad in St. John's Wood. I was making like 8mm movies, showing them to Antonioni. I was into quite a sort of heavy avant-garde trip. I'd sit with Burroughs in a basement. And I remember sitting around with Burroughs, to do little tapes and backward, crazy stuff.
Sell out your sons forever.